Hello. When you open your mood board template, this is what it will look like in Illustrator. In this video, I will show you how to place pictures in this template and also how to change the type. All of what you see here are placeholders. You're going to be placing your images in these gray rectangles and you will be typing over this placeholder text. So let's go ahead and get started. So one of my biggest tips I can give you is to have all of your materials ready ahead of time. For example, I have my images ready to go in a folder. And how I'm going to place them inside of this gray rectangle shape is I'm going to change my mode to the draw inside mode. I know that it is that draw inside mode because this here is selected, that icon and the toolbar, and on the corners you will see those dotted lines. That is an indicator that you are in the correct mode. Now, the next step is to place your image. I'm going to go to File and Place. When you place an image in Illustrator, you will be placing a raster file in a vector program, and Illustrator will handle this a bit differently. So it's important to know that it is not exactly foreign, but it is a different computer graphic type. So once I found my logo, I will place, and two things will happen. My cursor will change to a smaller arrow and it will give you a tiny preview of the image that was selected, your logo example. So here I'm going to click once, and your first click will be in this rectangle area where the draw inside mode is, and it will place it right inside of it. So I'm just going to adjust it using my black arrow. That looks pretty good. I'm going to click elsewhere on the clipboard and now go back to my normal mode. By doing this, it keeps to the template and it helps with your first layout assignment in keeping all of those pieces together. So let's do this step again. What if the logo that you want to use for an example doesn't quite fit, or the poster? So let's try this again. I'm going to select the gray square, go to the draw inside mode, File, Place again, and this time I'm going to pick this example here. You can see that it is definitely a little bit longer on the length side. I'm going to place, first click, remember goes right into our selected area. And now I'm going to move it. Now see how it does not fit? It looks like it's being cropped. My guides are going crazy. What I want to do is I want to format this. I'm going to change the size. So in your video of how to transform the scale, it's the same way to transform a image like this. So holding down your shift key, I'm going to go to the corner and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to fit it to where I want it to. This looks pretty good. I'm going to center that, deselect by clicking somewhere else and going back to my normal drawing mode. I don't like the gray behind it, and this is your next step. So if that happens, simply select the shape again, go to your swatch panels, and do you see where it's a question mark here? Well, that's where we want to change it to none, and then now it will blend in with the background. So let's try a poster. Clicking on one of the placeholders, File, and selecting it, going to your draw inside mode. Essentially, this is a clipping path. File, Place. And I'm going to find one of the poster designs, place, and click. All right, your first click is always going to be inside of that selected draw inside mode shape. And now I'm just needing to format this, fit this so it works. So if something like this ever happens, that you click elsewhere by accident and then you try to move this around, just be wary of that. It is an easy fix. So if you just double click in this area, you're going to go inside that clip group mode, and then you're able to adjust it, scale it, make that a little bit smaller, move that up, and that looks pretty good. Actually, a little bit on the bottom. Perfect. All right, so hitting your escape key gets out of that mode, and then as you can see here, we're not in that draw inside mode. All right, last example for placing. I am going to select this area here, and this is where you're to put your rough sketch of the Thrive logo. Let's move that out of there, and now let me select the draw inside mode, file, place, and I purposely picked a horizontal landscape here for this example. So here's the sketch. I'm going to click right inside of that area, holding down my shift key, and I am just going to make sure that when I create this or put this in here, I am going to enlarge that to the best possible way so I can really see that sketch. Now obviously here, this on the background, that's not going to work. So what we're doing, we're going to deselect, go back to our normal draw mode, click on our shape, go to our swatches, see where that question mark is for the fill. We're just going to change that to none. And then here's your text. All your text is in a box, and you can just move that up. All right. Something important to note that once again you are placing raster images in a vector program. So when these things happen, Illustrator will read it differently. For example, here I am in my link panel or links panel, and it will give me a tiny little preview of all of the different images that I have placed inside my document. This will make my document larger, but it will also tell me if the images are embedded, excuse me. So if I hover over these images where it says embedded, you want to make sure that they are, because what's going to happen if they are not embedded, you will open up the file, and if they're not all in that same place in that collected folder that I gave you a tip before, it will show up as missing. So if I select one, it will say unembed. But if yours is not, this is the area where you would check, and it will say embed image. And that's all you'll need to check for that. Okay, so let's talk about your text. I'm going to zoom in on your logo type here. So this is placeholder text, and it's basically a repeat, a copy and paste of what I have for the assignment. Here for your logo type, you want to change that and label your logo example to one of the logo types discussed in the lecture. I'm going to call this my word mark. And then with that type tool, simply select your type. You can delete it and then start typing your answers to the questions. Okay, and all the questions are on Blackboard in the assignment submission under the directions. So this is how to place the pictures inside the placeholder gray areas, how to select the text box using your type tool, selecting and adding your words in here. So you are to give description, example, answer the questions for each logo, combine why you picked these posters, and then your idea here for the logo.